Hello everyone. Today we will be starting the second part of the story, The Third Level, written by Jack Finney. So in the previous PPT we have discussed about Jack Finney, who was an American author. His best known works are on scientific fiction and thrillers, including The Body Snatchers and The Time and Again. Okay, then about the story we have discussed about Charlie, okay, and how he talks about three levels at the Grand Central Railway Station. So how the narrator feels that there are three levels at the Grand Central Station, but in reality there are only two. So he has discussed this with his psychiatrist friend Sam, and Sam feels that the narrator's experience is a walking dream wish fulfillment. Okay, the psychiatrist says that he is unhappy and the modern man is engulfed in insecurities and fears. So that is why Charlie wants an escape from this stressful or difficult life. Okay, so now let us see the further part of the story. Anyway, here's what happened at Grand Central. So now Charlie is narrating one of his experience. One night last summer, I worked late at the office. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment. So I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. Now, I don't know why this should have happened to me. I'm just an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years old, and I was wearing a tan gabardine suit and a straw hat with a fancy band. I passed a dozen men who looked just like me, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Louisa, my wife. So, as we have discussed that Charlie was a 31-year-old man, okay, and he's very frustrated on the fact that nobody believes him that there are three levels in the Grand Central Station. So every now and then when he is narrating his experience at the station, he is ironically pointing out that I am truly saying that I have experienced the third level, but on the other hand, my friends and my psychiatrist friend Sam are not ready to believe my fact that what I have seen. Okay, so he is narrating an experience that one day when he was at work, he was very much late and he had to hurry to go to his home. So he decided to take a subway, okay, a train, a local train from Grand Central because it is faster than bus. So after that, what happened? He does not know. So the plot was that on that same day, he was going to discover the third level. Okay. So after that, when he reached the Grand Central Station, what happened with him? He is starting to narrate. And before that, he is describing himself, how he is looking. So he is wearing a tan gabardine suit. So gabardine means tough and tight woven fabric. Okay, so that is a very much normal suit which in 19th century people used to wear, and a straw hat, as you can see in the picture, it is a hat where a colorful or very attractive band is covering the hat around. And I passed a dozen men who looked just like me. So he is narrating that everything was quite normal in the Grand Central Station and I was not trying to escape from anything. So ironically, he is telling or defending his fact that everything was normal and I was behaving like a normal man. So nothing mentally disturbing was happening, that this psychiatrist friend and his other friends are not able to believe. His aim was just to catch a subway train so that he could reach home as fast as he can to visit his wife. Clear? Then I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level, where you take trains like the 20th century. Then I walked down another flight to the second level, where the suburban trains leave from, ducked into an arched doorway heading for the subway, and got lost. That's easy to do. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times, but I am bumping always into new doorways and stairs and corridors. Once I got into a tunnel about a mile long and came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. Another time, I came up in an office building on 46th Street, 3 blocks away. Sometimes I think the Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. There is probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about feeling its way under the city right now, on its way to Times Square and maybe another Central Park. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape. Maybe that's how the tunnel I got into. But I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. So you can see here also he is talking about the ironical comment which he makes on his psychiatrist friend who is not believing him. Okay, so the first line that I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue. So Vanderbilt Avenue is a name of three thoroughfares in the New York City boroughs of Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Staten Island. So these three close by cities are there. From one station to other, through this avenue only the train passes. Clear? So now here the narrator is giving you an explanation of how the Grand Central Station works, how many tunnels are there, then his experiences in the past, how he lost his way very often. It is a very daily routine of his to um, get wavered in the station, and it was quite normal on that day also when something unusual happened. Okay, so the previous experiences he is talking about, first of all, I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down to the steps to the first level. So now he has reached the first level where you take trains like in the 20th century. Then I walked down another flight to the second level. Okay, now he has reached to the second level where the suburban trains, suburban means the local trains to the close by cities go or leave from. So ducked into an arched doorway heading for the subway. So there was a doorway from which he has escaped and going into the subway. Okay, and in the subway what happened? He got lost. It is one of the experience of the past. That's easy to do. So easy to do means that it is very often happening with everyone. So it is not a new deal to which happens with everyone. Okay, so I have been in and out of the Grand Central hundreds of times. So as he is a very much ongoing person, his daily routine is to go to Grand Central Station, and through this station he goes to his work or his office. So he has crossed this station hundreds of times. So by now he should be very much well known with the roads and routes, but he always bumps into new doorways and stairs and corridors. Okay, so everything is unusual, or he is not able to remember all the new doorways, stairs and corridors, and according to him new tunnels are made up every day and he gets confused regarding that. So once I got into a tunnel about a mile long and came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. So this Roosevelt Hotel is in Manhattan. So by chance or by mistake, he once was happening to go to some other place, but due to confusion he came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. So he has to go through some other borough or tunnel, but he has by mistakenly taken to the Manhattan in the Roosevelt Hotel. So these things of confusing or getting lost in the station happens as a very natural phenomena in the life of Charlie. Okay, and another time he's saying that he came up in an office of 46th Street, 3 blocks away from where he has to go. So sometimes he's thinking or denoting that Grand Central Station is like a growing tree. So as in a tree, the branches extend, the roots extend one day or the other. It becomes huge and huge. Likewise, he is comparing Grand Central Station to a big tree that always or every day reaches out more and more into the tunnels and staircases like roots. So there is probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about feeling its way under the city right now. So he is indirectly talking about that when I'm talking or narrating the story, it may happen that a new route or a new tunnel has been made up in the Grand Central Station, which by the way would be taking its route to where? It may be Times Square, it may be Central Park or anything. Okay. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape. So I'm not the only one who would feel this way, but there are many people who behave like this or get confused on a daily basis, because Grand Central Station is so huge and it leads to so many ways that it has become a part of escaping through situations. So he is literally meaning that Grand Central Station is a way to escape from something, and it is very much natural, which my psychiatrist friend is not believing, and he is insulting me or doubting me that something is only wrong with me and not the other. But according to Charlie, the narrator, he thinks it is very much normal to get confused, to get wavered or losing the way in the station. Clear? Then the corridor I was in began angling left and slanting downward. So when he was very much in hurry to go to his wife or to go to his apartment, so when he went down from the second level, what happened? A corridor through which he walked or dug into was angling left, so a diagonally arc was being made and it is a slanting way downward, and I thought that I was wrong, but I kept on walking. So he began to become curious about to which way this is leading. So he was out of curiousness, he started walking, though he was knowing that this way is not correct. So all I could hear was the empty sound of my own footsteps. So nobody is there, he is all alone and he is walking, and it is so silent that while walking he can hear his own footsteps. And I did not pass a soul. So pass a soul means nobody or no human was present around. Then I heard that sort of hollow roar ahead, that means open space and people talking. So while he is crossing the tunnel, nobody is there, no human is present, everything is so silent. But at a little far, some noise is coming and it is to be listened like a roar. So he analyzed that after some time a opening is there where a huge crowd is present. Okay, and the discussion or the noise is coming very clear. Open space and people talking. The tunnel turned sharp left. I went down a short flight of stairs and came out on the third level at the Grand Central Station. So now, while he's narrating, he has come to the third level, which nobody is ready to believe. Okay. So he is now narrating his experience at the third level. For just a moment, I thought I was back on the second level, but I saw the room was smaller, there were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. And the man in the booth wore a green eye shade and long black sleeve protectors. The lights were dim and sort of flickering. Then I saw why they were open flame gas lights. So now he is able to analyze that he has by mistakenly come to the second level, but it is not the same second level he has gone through that day in the morning. It was very much different. How he recognized that? The furniture which was there, the architectural finishing which was there on that level, then the dressing of the people, the information booth was smaller, and the train gates and everything are made of wood, and the ticket windows are few, okay, and congested, and the man in the booth was wearing a different type of clothes which are out of fashion now, and the lights were dim in the ticket booking center. And why the lights were dim? Because there were attached glass gas lights which were flickering. Okay, the flame in the gas light was flickering, that is shining unsteadily. Clear? So now you see the pictures. An open level is there where nobody is there, and when he is walking he comes to know that there is a crowd over there, but the crowd is slightly different from what he has expected from the second level, because here people are dressed in a different manner, in a very old way. Furnitures are made of wood, which are not common in the 21st century, and the congested information centers and ticket booking centers, in which people are dressed very old fashioned way, and the room is lighted with gas lights, okay, which is flickering and which is whose flame is unsteady. Clear? Then there were brass spittons on the floor and across the station. A glint of light caught my eye. A man was pulling a gold watch from his vest. He snapped open the cover, glanced at his watch, and frowned. He wore a derby hat, a black four-button suit with tiny lapels, and he had a big handlebar mustache. Then I looked around and saw that everyone in the station was dressed like 1890 or something. I never saw so many beards, sideburns, and fancy mustaches in my life. So now he is getting all the evidences that he has come to a very different world where nothing is same in the era in which he is living at present. Okay, so there were brass spittons. So what is brass spittons? So these are made of brass, okay, and these pittons were considered an advance of public manners and health, intended to replace previously common spitting on floors. So to avoid that bad habit of spitting on the ground, these brass pittons were made, so that in an effect of being a clean person or a healthy person, we have to spit in that brass spittons in the olden days, which was very much new. So in that station, this kind of architecture was there, brass spittons were there. Then what happened? So he saw a person who is having a pocket watch, and he is taking out the watch and he's seeing the time, and he is a little what do you say, he is little frowned, means he is thinking about, which is very disturbing, or he is disapproving of some fact, that he is late for something, or something which is not going on according to his will. So he is little frowned, or he is little disturbed, and he is wearing a derby hat. So you can see the picture in the third picture where the people are wearing derby kind of hats. Clear? And this kind of coats where there are 4 buttons in total, okay, with a big mustache. So in the 18th century and 19th century, people used to have big long mustaches, and sideburns were also very much long, and it was very much fancy and stylish at that late 19th century. But now that was not at all common. So these were the proofs that Charlie got, that in which level he has reached now, it is not the present situation, it is in the some of 18th or 19th century, and he was not able to believe his eyes what he is seeing in front of him. He is really shocked and also excited to see a very different view which he has not seen in ages. Clear? Then a woman walked in through the train gate. She wore a dress with leg of mutton sleeves and skirts to the top of her high buttoned shoes. Back of her, out on tracks, I caught a glimpse of a locomotive, a very small Currier and Ives locomotive with a funnel-shaped stack. And then I know, to make sure, I walked over to the newsboy and glanced at the stack of papers at his feet. It was The World, and The World hasn't been published for years. The lead story said something about President Cleveland. I have found that the front page since in the public library files, and it was printed June 11, 1894. So this is the final revelation, or the final proof, or the exact date where he found himself in that third level, and that is that when he saw the men with long mustaches and long sideburns, then a woman came out of the train gate, and she was also wearing full sleeve, like umbrella kind of sleeves, and the on the shoulder part, and high buttoned shoes she was wearing, and back of her an old locomotive engine train was coming, which was very much small, and it was tagged then. And to make sure in what era he is, or he is in the present or the past situation, he went to the newspaper boy, and the newspaper which he saw at the feet of that boy was named as the World. And that was a very prevalent newspaper in the 19th century, and it was not published in the present generation in which he was living. And to see the lead story, what he got to know, the President Cleveland, who was in the 19th century, regarding him some news was there on the front page. And what was written, the date which was printed on the newspaper The World, that was June 11, 1894. So when he imagines it to be a peaceful countryside in the year 1894, when the First World War was happened. Okay, so now he went to relate all the social incidents which happened in that year, and he got confirmed that he is not present in the 21st century or the 20th century, but he is in the 19th century, which is the date given or the year given, that is 1894. And after this, what he does, let us discuss in the next class. This is end of part 2. Thank you.